hang on, I'm getting, whoa, 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 whoa. Go on, oh, hooked up. Butterflied mullet from the beach. Hi, my name's Roger Osborne. In today's video, I caught some beautiful mullet today. I went down to my local lake. I wasn't sure if there'd be many mullet there, but they were heaps, which was awesome. So I got some lovely fresh mullet, and I'm going to be butterflying some of those, pretty much putting them on whole minus the backbone, tossing them out into the surf in the hope of catching something big. And while I'm doing that, once again, I will share my thoughts and my strategy. I'll talk about my rigs, everything that's on my mind during the video so that I can pass that information on to you guys. Stick around to the end for a free PDF download which will outline some vital keys from today's session. And if you haven't subscribed already, remember it's absolutely free and it really helps my channel and getting more content out to you guys. So make sure that you do like, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Let's get fishing. It's pretty overcast this afternoon. It was sunny earlier, but the sky has filled with clouds, which I don't mind. It actually makes it feel like it's a lot later than it actually is. And I've come down to the beach. I've got a lovely trough or gutter in front of me, some nice deep water close to the shore with some beautiful white water behind it. And I'm going to put out some of this beautiful fresh mullet that I caught. I don't have any beach worms, haven't bothered going worming. All I've got with me is the fresh mullet. I do have a few pilchards, but I'm going to start off just fishing with mullet, and I'm going to butterfly one first and show you how that works. I've already rigged up, so I'm ready to go. Let's just grab one of those mullet. These are all the mullet that I caught today. Look at them all. Just quickly, if you haven't heard about my Rogers Fishing Boot Camps, they've been a huge success this year. People rave about the camaraderie. We get people of all ages, from kids, we've had grandfathers, we've had 3 generations on a Rogers Fishing Camp. It's absolutely amazing. And really, we put so much effort into quality instruction to get you guys up and running with your fishing. If you'd like to spend some quality time with me and my team, learning beach worming, beach fishing, how to read a beach, how to strategize, then these camps are for you and spots fill up quick. So if you're keen, head on over to my website, rogersfishing.com, and check it out. Now, this is one of the smaller mullet that I caught. It's probably about 15 or 16 centimeters long, but I think it's probably a good size to start off with. So I'm just going to whip the backbone out and I'll show you how to do it. Now I'm actually going to scale this mullet. So I'm just going to whip the scales off on each side, like so. Then I'm going to start slicing from the tail end of the mullet up towards the head. I'm really just gently running this knife along the backbone. I don't want to cut through the backbone. And I'm going to come up to the shoulder just behind the top of the head, pull that out and then repeat the process on the other side. Always being careful about my fingers. I don't really want to run the knife into myself, so I've just got to be a little bit gentle. I'm going to move my hand on the other side there. Actually, it's a little bit tough there. Anyway, I think that's good enough anyway. So what I'll do is now I'm just going to grab this part of the mullet and pull it, and you can see that comes out and it leaves you with, just wipe that sand off there, leaves you basically with like a whole mullet, but it's got 2 fillets as flaps. And that's what you call butterflying a fish. You can do this with mullet, you can do it with yellowtail, you can do it with different types of fish. But this is a beautiful fresh fish that I caught today. I think it'll be awesome. For this bait, I'm super simple. I'm just using one large hook. So all I'm going to do is put the hook in here and come up underneath and through the skull and have the hook like that. And that really is it. And if a fish comes in and grabs it, so you can see that big 10-0 hook just sitting there, plenty of the barb exposed, can't get caught anywhere else. So let's whack that out. I think I better take my shoes off. Looks really nice out there. It doesn't look like there's much current. I'm actually going to put this rod holder just here. There's hardly any beach today, and it's not quite high tide yet, so there'll be virtually no beach by the time we get to high tide at all. Cool. Be interesting to see whether a salmon wants to nail this or it gets left for something else. Okie doke. What's the water like? Is it cold? Alright, just get here. Give it a bit of a whooshka. That's it. Alright, well that's pretty good. Just out in the middle of the trough. Not all that far out, but certainly far enough out. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of current, so I think it should hold position where it's landed. I'm going to put this in the rod holder. And I'm going to get my other rod. I'm going to have these two lines both out together. We'll see how we go. For the second rod, I've got a bigger mullet. I'm actually going to fillet this, and I'm going to put a strip of mullet on a set of ganged hooks. So I'm going to have one with the whole butterflied mullet and the other one with a mullet strip. All right, because I'm using it as a strip bait, I definitely don't want any scales on there. So just quickly removing the scales, both sides, because I'll fillet the whole thing. Take both the fillets off. So there we go. Now to fillet this guy, I don't have to be fancy because it's not a la carte, it's not for dinner. I'm just running it down there. Put my hand up here like so. Then I'll do the same thing on this side. Pull that off there. So that leaves me with the mullet frame. A little bit of mullet gut there. Got a couple of fillets. Just, gosh, there's sand everywhere, man. So I'm going to cut this in half. Probably about there, like that. And I'm going to put this lovely strip here on a set of ganged hooks. Just prep that as well. So I've got a spare one. Alrighty. So rod number 2 has the set of 3 ganged hooks, like so. So I always like to set the ganged hooks on the bait just to see where they're going to sit, so that I know where the end hook needs to go. So in this case, I'm going to put this hook through here. I always keep my 2 fingers like that so that when you push the hook, it goes through in between your fingers, you don't spike yourself. Same thing when I pull this around, I'll put a finger either side of the hook, so the hook goes in the middle. And then the same thing up the top here, I'll put that there, just carefully pop that on. So now, obviously it's covered in a lot of sand at the moment, but there you have your piece of mullet with the 3 hooks in it. Beautiful. If a tailor wants to grab that, he'll get nailed. So bait number 2 is ready to go. I just move over to the side a little bit, so I won't put this one right next to the other line. Yeah, come over this way a little bit further. Put it right up here, because the waves keep getting higher all the time. I found this bit of PVC the other day, got washed up somewhere. Wasn't mine, but I've claimed it. Looks like there's a little bit of rain around. Okay, gonna whack this guy out. Just keeping my eye on my other rod. Okay, just put a little bit of power into it. that's well and truly out the back. Let's see how long it takes to catch a fish. The water looks pretty good looking water, really. You'd expect that there'd be some big predatory fish hunting around in there. Just watching my other rod. It was just rattling around a little bit then. I think I need to check it. Yeah, I think I might like to wind this one in and just check the bait. Just make sure it's all right, hasn't been messed up. I want to make sure that I've got a good bait out there. I don't want to have any doubts that I've got a nice bait out there, because that's the last thing you want, is to think that your bait is good and it's not. Alrighty, let's see what's going on. No, everything's good. So I can chuck it back out again. Back out into the fish zone. That mullet was spinning around like a propeller on the way out then. This beach is not a known mulloway beach. The odd one does come in, but the water looks good and you can catch mulloway on any beach. The main thing is to have some really good quality bait and have it in the water, which is what I'm doing this afternoon. So I've got 2 lines out there now with some solid baits. So it's a bit of a waiting game with them. So I, of course, brought my soft plastic rod with me. And while I'm watching these rods, I'm going to have a flick with the soft plastic as well. So I think I'll do that now. I've upgraded my plastic setup for the beach a little bit. I've got a slightly larger reel. And I've gone for, I only had 10-pound braid recently when I was pulling the salmon, but I've upgraded to 15-pound braid with a 14-pound leader. So it's just a little bit heavier. So if I do hook a bigger fish, I'm going to be a little bit better off. And I'm going to start off with this white soft plastic. I've also got a couple of other different colours I might give a go, but I'm going to do the white one first, and then I may change over to one of the other colours. So you can see the jig head there. It's actually a 1/2 ounce jig head, and the size hook is a 4/0. So I'm going to put it there, right between the eyes. Try and bring it out the middle of the back, like that. Beautiful. So I've got those beautiful mullet baits out there. Couldn't get fresher than I've got. So just going to wait while they're there and toss this thing out. It's the sea's pretty turbulent, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes, but still may catch something, and I may as well be doing that while I'm waiting to hook a fish on my other lines. So I'm going to walk over to the left a little bit away from where these are. It does appear to me that there's a little bit of drift from right to left. Not a significant amount, but just a bit. Alrighty, I'm going to head down over here into this white water. Give it a go. I wonder how far I'll be able to get out. I'd just like to walk down close to the edge and pinch as much ground as I can in between the waves, but this short arm's got a lot of power. Oh, I just saw a fish in the water. Okay, well that's not too bad. I actually saw a fish break the surface. I'm just going to do a slow roll, I think. Oh, I'm on. Wow, how's that? First cast with this white plastic and I'm hooked up. Whoa, did you see that jump? Wow, how awesome. Now, oh, he got off. He tossed the plastic when he jumped. I couldn't believe how quickly I got a bite then. He's caused a little bit of damage. The hook has ripped out the top of that plastic. It was actually coming out down here with that salmon that just grabbed it. But man, that was almost an instant hookup. I don't think I can use this because it's kind of ripped. I could try putting it on upside down, but I think I'd rather go and get a new one. But that's pretty incredible. First cast, I got nailed. I better check this rod. This rod had the strip of mullet on it. No, nothing on the end. But I'll see what the bait's like, see if it's all right. I'm keen to chuck that plastic back out again. Man, that was so quick. No, the bait looks beautiful. Nothing touched it. Amazing. Oh well, chuck it straight back out. Whoa! I'm not sure if you can see on the camera, but there's a lot of power in these waves. That's why I've got to just take my time a little bit, get down here and get it out before the next one comes. Because I'll get soaked if I stay down there very long. If I get a big fish, I'll need to time it with the waves when I bring it in. All right, let's see if we can hook up straight away again. I'm just going to let that sink a bit. Just going to let that plastic sink down. And then I'm going to just do a slow roll, which is what I was doing before when I got that hit. Just going to keep the tip down and just troll it in. Okay, nice little break here. I'm actually casting into the wind, which is not the easiest thing. Just going to try giving it a couple of lifts this time. Let it sink down a little bit lower. Then I might try on the other side where the water's a little bit greener. It's pretty foamy just here. Okay, so that was interesting. I got one straight away, but haven't had one since. Checking. It's time to just have a quick look at my mullet rods, and then I'm going to try on the other side of them. It's very foamy just where I am here. I'm going to go on the other side where the water's a little bit less foamy, more green, deep water, and there's a bit of a sandbar out the back. So far my fresh mullet baits haven't been touched, which I find interesting because if there's salmon out there, you'd think that they would go for that as well. But it's holding the bottom pretty well, so I'll leave that there. And that one's pretty good. So I'm just going to go to the right of these lines this time, which is kind of on the end of where this sandbar is. See if I get any hits out here. Water's a lot deeper here. Okay, I'm going to wander down close to the edge. Give it a flick. Let it sink a bit. Because the lure's white, I think I want to get a little bit away from the white water on the top. Okay, I'm just winding it in, letting the paddle tail do its work. Got one. Oh, hooked up. Wow, that was close to shore, or relatively close. Man, he's pulling that line. Woo! Should hear the drag. You can't because of the... Okay, so it took a few casts before I hooked up again, and this time I was doing a slower retrieve, letting it stay more near the bottom and just giving it a few lifts. I'm going to have to follow this fish. Even though the conditions are pretty boisterous, I'm still hooking a couple of fish, and I'm casting into an onshore breeze, which is not ideal for fishing with plastics. You can see there's a lot of, when you've got this sort of shore break, there's a fair bit of effort in landing a fish, in tiring it out and then using a wave to help get it up. So here comes a bigger wave now. I may be in a position to get it up with this wave. Oh, it's only halfway really, just not going to be enough. Maybe this one will do it. Yeah, this one's got it. Yeah, it's quite difficult landing a fish in this shore dump. But look at that, that's a great fish on lure or on plastic. You can see the soft plastic in his mouth. Look at that, he has really nailed that soft plastic. I'll try and grab him. A bit slippery. Yeah, look at that, he's really eaten that with gusto. So I might have had maybe a dozen casts. I hooked up one on my first cast, but it was about another 10 casts before I hooked another one. Man, let me have it, plastic. All right, now I'm going to let this guy go. Just going to walk down a little bit, not too far down. Wait for the next wave. All right, in you go, buddy. That's it. No, go that way, go that way. Come, here's some more water, mate. Just go the right way this time. There he goes. He has smashed this plastic as well. He's kind of put a rip in it. Now, I was mentioning while I was pulling that salmon in that I tried letting it, because it's so turbulent, I tried letting it sink to the bottom to make sure that the plastic was on the bottom, and then was just giving it some more sort of gentle lifts rather than doing a slow roll. And that seemed to work better. Now I have a different soft plastic I'm going to put on instead of the white one, and we'll see how that goes. Check this rod, I know it's gone quite slack. It seems to be washed down the beach a bit. Not quite sure why that is. It's been washed down that way a fair way. Why is that? really was washed a long way down there. I don't think it was the current that did that. There's nothing on it. Wonder if I've got any bait on the end. Yep, look, my mullet strip is still intact. Wow, I'm amazed. I'm amazed nothing has actually touched this beautiful strip of mullet. So it's going straight back out again, but that's interesting how, yeah, it hasn't been touched. You'd think even a brim would grab that. Well, that was a long way to my left, actually. Oh well, maybe that's to my advantage. Probably get maybe blown or washed down the other way. Now this is not a soft plastics video, it's a mullet video. Just going to check my other rod, but then I'm going to jump straight back onto that plastic. And I've got one which is called, what's it called? Something like Sexy Mullet that I'm going to put on. Just going to check this butterflied one as well. Now it has washed down to the right a little bit too. It doesn't feel like there's much on the end. Let's just see. Although a bait like what I've got doesn't have much resistance pulling it in because you pull it in head first. All right, a little bit of weed on the line. Okay, so I've got weed and no bait. But I've got another butterflied mullet there. I'll whack straight on and get that out. Hang on, I'm getting, whoa, whoa. Whoa! Whoa! Do I have a fish or what? No, I don't. It's not on. That was a hectic bite. Wow. Did you see that rod bending? That was really nailed, but it didn't hook up. The bait still looks good, so I'm going to chuck it back out. Wow, you would have thought that would have hooked up. Anyway, I'll chuck it straight back out. That was good. Better chuck it in the same spot. Got to get this other one back out there before it gets too late. Okay, whack him in there, go and get the other mullet. No mucking around. This is the other plastic I've got. You can see it's like a greeny bluey colour, more of a lime green underneath with a speckled blue on top. I think it's called Sexy Mullet. It's about the same size as the other one that I was using, so I'm going to put that on and have a few casts, but it's starting to get pretty dark. Don't have a lot of light left. And I did have a big hit on that mullet strip before. That rod really buckled over. I'm surprised with the gang hooks that it didn't connect. Anyways, let's have a go with this plastic quickly before it's dark. See if I get a hit. The onshore wind is making it a little bit difficult to get distance with the cast, with the plastic. So I'm just gently working it while I've got it out in a little bit of depth. I've got to try and sneak down in between the waves so that I can get at least far enough out to drag it in a little bit. So far I've had that one really big hit on that strip of mullet. That rod really buckled over and it didn't hook up. I'm still tossing the plastics, but the wind has actually changed and it's a southeaster. And if you're on the if you're on the east coast, you would know that a southeaster is not a good wind, having that in your face really strong, which limits my distance a lot. But I still think it's worthwhile flicking that plastic out because I might catch another fish. I'm going to do that for a little bit longer while I keep my eye on these mullet baits. So I'm going to just jump back straight into it. Well, this one just buckled over again. So I might need to put a little bit more of that mullet strip on, I think. It's twice it hasn't hooked up. But I do have some more mullet strip ready. I think this bait's probably not in good shape now. I want to get it out there quickly because I want to continue to toss that plastic. Yeah, the mullet strip's nearly been ripped off. You can see there's just a bit left on the end of the hooks. So I think I'll go and quickly replace it. There's some big rain clouds out to sea and the wind is blowing from the sea onto the land, so I hope that rain doesn't nail us in a minute. We'll just wait and see. Now, let's see if the third time a fish hooks up. Okay, where's my rod holder? I can't see it. Oh, there it is. Great exercise running up and down the beach all the time. Okay, back to where I was. Keep our eye on it. Okay, I think I've got a creature of some kind here. Oh, look at that. It's just a small brim. I thought I had something smaller that has taken the ganked hooks with that piece of mullet. It's an undersized brim. Well, he's going to go back, and I think I'll chuck it back out again and hold on to it this time, but I've definitely had some much bigger bites than that, so I will let him go and put a bit more bait on. I'm just going to chuck this out again. I put a bit more mullet on it. I thought I had a piece of weed or something small on my line before, so we didn't film it, but it was that small brim that I had. I realised I could feel something kicking on the shore. So anyway, I'm going to whack it back out again. It's pretty much right on high tide right now. The wind is blowing a strong southeasterly in my face, so I've given up with the plastics and just having a few more casts. If you'd like a free PDF download of some vital keys from today's session, hit the link in the corner or in the description below. When you're fishing in the dark like this, it's when your casting memory comes in because you can't see a thing. So it's good when you're fishing a lot and casting a lot, you still know where your line's going even though it's dark. I've got a couple of lovely mullet baits in the water. I've got that butterfly mullet. I did lose one. Got taken, so I put another one on. I've had two really big hits on the stripper mullet. Both times my rod has buckled right over, but for some reason the hooks haven't connected. I did catch a small brim. I hooked two salmon on the soft plastic. I landed one and one got off. But I tell you what, you know, we all know that trying to cast soft plastics into a... Oh, hang on, I'm getting a bite. What's going on? Yeah, something's going on. Come on, take it. You know, it's getting quite a... It felt like a tailor bite, but it stopped. Either a tailor or a brim. Anyway, I didn't really get the opportunity to strike and set the hook. But you know, we all know that tossing plastics into a headwind is very difficult, and it just cemented that fact today. It was very hard casting straight into a sou'easter, so I gave up on the plastics. I managed to hook two fish, which wasn't too bad. But I think I'm going to pull the plug. It's pretty miserable down here. Now it's raining, that onshore breeze. So I trust you've learned a few things. Fresh mullet is a fantastic bait, really good butterflied as I was showing you. Anyway, it's getting a little bit cold and miserable here, so I think it's time to head home. I'll see you guys really soon in the next fishing adventure.